Hey everyone, it's Frederick Kramer here, and in today's video I want to cover something that is going to cost you $10,000 per month in your agency business right now, and you're probably not even aware of this. And the likelihood that you will step into this fall at least once in your life, in your business career, is almost guaranteed. And I'm just going to really quickly cover what that is, how you can avoid it, how this happened to me, what I've done in my situation, and how you can avoid this. And essentially, obviously, because you're not losing 10K per month anymore, make 10K per month more eventually. So here's what happened to me. I already knew about burnout. So this video is basically going to be about burnout and stuff like that. If you don't think that this is going to be important for your business, agency stuff, whatever, and you just want a fancy cold email script, you want to have some whatever lead qualification strategy that's going to fix it all for you without you ever needing to worry about burnout, feel free to just go click off this video, all of that. But for those that actually see that this is going to be important and that it's very likely that they don't see what's going on there, keep here, right? So stay here, I want to say. So the thing is, I already knew about burnout, and I thought like, okay, right now I'm doing pretty well. So what I've done is I was capping my work times to like roughly 8.5 hours per day. So basically I had like my day. So I had, I was working like, then I was taking like a break. So this basically like a calendar, right? So this is like 12, this is like 8 or something when I would start to work. And this is like 5 p.m. In Germany, we just say 17. So it's like 5 p.m. And then I would like stop here, which is not that much work. It's if that's like 13, then that's like 8 hours per day. And most agency owners work more than that, especially when they're already like making more money. They have some clients and all of that. So I was having like 8 hours per day. And I thought like, now that I'm stopping here, so here's basically like health stuff, eating, and then like nighttime routine, going to add like 22, which is like 10 p.m. And yes, this is literally 10 hours of sleep. So, and I thought like, like I might as well like work an extra hour here because it just works better, as probably literally everybody would do when they're already, making breaks, all of that. And it's like 8 hours a day. I want to work more. And I thought like that would be really good. And I already knew about burnout. So I was like, yeah, like I'm going to realize when my health is starting to decline. And obviously every single person has like different markers of like, oh shit, like now I'm getting towards burnout. And for me, what happens immediately or very, very soon is that my sleep is getting a bit worse. And what that means is also like you might just like wake up in the middle of the night and you're like suddenly like awake and you're thinking about stuff, not necessarily even about business stuff, but you just like your sleep is like all fucked up. And you might have different things, like you might start to realize that you've got like a bit of a cold or like the flu or something like that, and you get like sick and all of that. In my case, it's sleep. And the worst part of this, and the reason why this is costing you money, if you're not aware of this and don't make sure that this never happens, is because like every single workout that you have is becoming less effective. So let's say I add this amount of extra work here. Let's say it's even just 1 hour per day. So I go from like 8 hours per day to 9 hours per day. And then what happens slowly is my sleep gets a bit worse, my focus gets a bit worse, but I don't realize it. People never realize that quickly because like that's something for awareness to realize that. But what happens if your focus is bad, firstly you make some small stupid decisions, sometimes here, sometimes there. You forget some small thing, now you suddenly need to work on this again because you forgot whatever thing in whatever project. Maybe you forgot a certain setting in cold email and now the deliverability is going down, whatever. Like it could literally be anything, but you suddenly start to make your work less productive. And what happens is pretty quickly after like a week or something being slightly above your natural capacity is your work is going to have something called like a multiplier, meaning if at the beginning my multiplier was at like 100%, it could be easily that after a week or something, it's only at 70%. And what that means is at the beginning, you had like 8 hours at 100%, right? Which is 8. And now you have 9 hours at 70%, which is 6.3. So basically you decided I'm going to work 1 hour more. And by that, you just reduce your arbitrary output to 6.3 hours per day, which is insane. And now you're probably going to think, yeah, Frederick, but like, how do you know it's going to be 70%? How do you know I'm not at 100%? It's honestly difficult to explain, but if you have been used to just being super focused, doing everything completely perfectly, and then suddenly you realize that, for example, you realize this, for example, when you're at work and suddenly you feel like there's like really low energy and yeah, sure, you might just not want to do the work because the work sucks or something. But when you're actually at 100%, you actually are motivated to do literally most of your work. Like, yeah, sure, it's going to be painful, but you have the energy and the sort of drive to do it. But when you're like there and you're like, oh gosh, like I still need to work like another 2 hours before I can finally stop, that's basically when you're stopping to be at like 100%. I'd rather go down towards like 70%. And by the way, this could even be way worse. Like 70% is still quite good. Like if you're more on the burnout side and you've been doing this for quite a time, you might as well be at like 40%. And even if you're working like 14 hours per day, no, actually, I'm too shit at maths for doing 14. But let's say you work 12 hours per day, and you're only at like 40%. That's like roughly 5 hours that you're only getting. But you're working more. You might as well spend the rest of the you might as well like work 8 hours, do 3 hours of nothing, and do the rest of nothing, and work like way less than 12 hours, but still have the same output. And even that is already enough of a reason, but you're literally making less money. But now the question is like, but how does this cost me 10K per month? Well, let's say you're a bit tired, you don't have any more, motivation to do the work, not as far as like, I don't want to do it, but also you just don't have the drive, like the energy for that. And your mind is like all unfocused, you're like tired, your mood is worse, all of that. Imagine how this would affect your sales calls, for example. Because when you're taking sales calls, obviously your emotional and mental state is extremely important for how well you're converting on your calls. So if you're at 40%, roughly the same is going to happen to your sales conversion rate. So let's say your normal sales conversion rate was like 30%. I know, let's take something that's a bit easier. Let's say normally your sales conversion rate was like 50% when you're at this stage, right? Well, now when you're at 40%, it's also going to be roughly at 20%. Why? Like, well, why is that happening? Well, if you don't have that much energy, then you're going to have less energy to handle the prospect's objections. You're going to have less energy to ask more curious questions. You're probably not even going to care about the prospect specifically. Whatever they're going to tell me, I'm tired. I just want to get this call done. I wish they don't show up so I can relax a bit more. Whatever you're going to think, and you are going to think this if you're a bit, at lower energy and you just don't want to do it anymore. You're just drained. And even unconsciously, you're just not going to have that much energy to like handle all of the stuff on the sales call, right? So that literally is going to, for example, if you were usually at 50%, going to get your sales conversion rate down to at 20%. And if you're usually at 25%, it's going to rather get you down to 10%, just because you're not actually operating at your full potential. And imagine what this is going like. This is literally the amount of money you make in new revenue, right? So if you have like 10 sales calls that show up per week, usually in this state, you'd have with 8 hours a day, you have the capacity for 10 sales calls. With 12 hours per day, you also have that anyway. So you can do like the same amount of calls, but usually you would convert like 5 of them. And then suddenly when you change that, you only convert like 2 of them. And let's say you charge like, whatever you charge, maybe you charge like 3K like once. Even if you just charge 3K up front without anything else, then this is already a difference of $6,000 for 1 week. So you can very, very easily imagine how this is going to lead you to lose 10K a month, maybe even 50K per month, right? And this is just one small part of it. I didn't even talk about how you're going to interact with your clients, what's going to happen to your team if you have one, what's going to happen to your to your acquisition process. Maybe you're still doing outreach by yourself. You have less energy to do outreach. You're going to procrastinate on outreach. Say like, yeah, today I don't have the energy to do more cold calls. Maybe the cold calls even convert worse. There's all sorts of stuff that's going to happen, right? So to quickly wrap this up, I'm going to quickly wrap this up. Then I'll give you an extra lesson from this, like how you can prevent this in the future, and know that you're, on the one hand, yes, you're not doing this mistake, but on the other hand, you're not just like working 4 hours per day, and you could have like done more actually without losing, with like maybe going from 100% to like 95% or something, which is still fine. But like how to actually find the best place to operate at, because you might have less need for sleep, and actually 9 hours per day is like really good for you. But this effect that I just explained happens to you when you go from like 10 hours per day to 12 hours per day. It's going to be at some sort of spot. It's different for every single person. Also depends on how long you've been in business already. But this is really important. So I'm going to quickly recap why this costs you 10K per month, and then go over how to actually prevent this from happening. So again, you decide that you've got your certain plan in the day, the hours that you plan to work, and you decide, fuck it, I'm just going to work more. Yes, I will need to sleep, but let's just cut the like recovery window at the end of the day, because I'm going to recover easier as anyway if I'm more tired. It makes sense. You sleep better when you're more tired. So let's just try this, right? And then what starts to happen is you work a bit more, so you have actually more time for some time to do more, which is good. Very like short term, it's good. But then over like a week or something, if you do this every single day you have like 1 hour less to recover. And this might not sound like much, but this is going to lead to you just having lower energy levels. And what happens when your energy levels go down? Let me get another color here as well. So when your energy levels go down, so if this is like your energy, then this is going to lead to multiple things, like I already mentioned. But to make this a bit simpler, it's going to basically have you worse mood, which is going to affect your sales calls, your call calls, all of that. You're slower when doing certain tasks because you're just not focused. You're way more distractible. So let's say, for example, you're doing Instagram lead sourcing, or for example Instagram, and then suddenly you see like a reel. The likelihood of you watching the reel, especially if it's something interesting, of course, when you're in a state where you have less energy and you're a bit on a sleep deficit, is way higher. And this is going to feed back again into you're going to be slower. Then you're going to also like yourself more, like your self-esteem is going to go down because you're less productive. So I don't even need to go deeper into this. You already see it's like the effect is huge on the amount of stuff that you get done during work, right? And all of this combined will easily lead to you like normally you have like 100 of potential, and suddenly you're at like 70 if you're lucky. If you get way more distracted, you get even worse of a self-esteem. You have worse sales calls. Now you have experience of like experiences of bad sales calls. Now you're thinking, oh, like the leads are worse now. The leads are worse. Now you're going to believe on the next sales call, oh, the leads are worse. The sales call could have usually closed even with that energy level, but you have some other limiting beliefs, some other stuff that's been happening. Your mood is even worse. You're in a worse stage. You're not handling the objection because you think, yeah, it's just bad lead quality, whatever. Suddenly you're down at 50%. And it goes super quick. Like before you know it, you're down and you start having like nitrous and all of that burnout stuff happens super quickly. Like it could literally happen from one day to the next that you're down at 70%. And that leads us to this arbitrary model. But obviously, how does that happen in real life? Well, it's going to affect your sales conversion rate, which is a core part of your business. It's going to affect your service delivery. So, maybe a client might complain about a certain thing and you don't reply to them because you don't have the energy. Then the client is going to trust you less. Maybe you frick something up with their campaign. Well, whatever might happen, whatever you do, like ads campaign, whatever you do, it doesn't even matter. You just have less energy to deliver for them. Then your reputation goes down and all of that stuff. And all of that in total costs you easily 10K per month. Like I was saying, even if you had like 10 sales calls per week, you don't even have a team. You're doing everything by yourself, but you've got 10 sales calls per week that show up. So like 15 bookings, 10 of them show up. So you go down from like usually like 5 closed deals at your normal sales conversion rate to 2 closed deals. If you charge only 3K once up front, then that's already, you're losing 6K per week, which is like 24K per month already, which is way more. Now, even if you're at half the sales conversion rate, which is 25%, go down to 10%, you charge the same, you're already losing 12K per month. So like easily, it might as well cost you 100K per month. And if you think really long term, it might literally cost you millions of dollars, because not signing a client right now prevents you from delivering for the client that you could have signed right now, prevents you from having another case study, prevents other clients from being more attracted to your sort of process, decreases your own confidence in your service, even on a subconscious level potentially, leads to you having not that much cash to hire another person that can do stuff for you, leads to you still needing to do the task that you would have not continued otherwise if you had a person for that, leads to you having less time for another high leverage. Like all of that stuff tangles into each other, compounds, you easily lose $1 million. Maybe even more than that. Like it's insane. So how do you actually like not have this anymore? You need to be super aware of your work output and especially your focus. But it's a bit easier because they're like that. It's quite hard to see like, am I really not that focused, or is it just is it just a feeling, or is it real? Basically, there are some things where you can objectively see whether that's real, And one of the things that I've done to be completely objective about this is I just bought an Aura ring for myself. You can buy that for like $500. And if you tell me you don't have $500, then look at this. Okay. I've bought that, and this like shows me every single day. It shows me my readiness. It shows me way more crap that I don't even need to get into. It just gives me a score each and every day. And for example, I want to have the score above 88. Really, 85 is already really good for a score, but I really want to have it above 88. And if you're below 80, it's very, very objective that this is going to be a day where you're operating at like 70, 40%, something like that. And like you basically just need to look at the score. And if you see that it's been worse for a few days, you will automatically know, okay, like you've been working too much, you're too stressed, you need more recovery at the end of the day. And more recovery at the end of the day will improve your sleep and therefore the score again, and therefore your energy levels. So this score is obviously just giving you feedback, but you can obviously you just need to try working just 8 hours per day, see what happens to your score. Try working 1 hour more per day, which is what I've done recently. See what happens to my score. Oh, the score goes to shit after like 1 or 2 weeks. Probably too much. And it could literally just be like 30 minutes more or less that make all of the difference. And if you have this, so you basically know now, okay, like I need to work like roughly 8.5 hours, whatever, 9.5 hours might be your perfect spot, then that is going to lead to that. And the most important part for you getting better energy levels is just having more time in the evening where you calm down. Like you can work a lot and your work can be very stressful, but if you have 2-3 hours every single evening where you can just lie down in bed and read Harry Potter for 5 hours or like 3 hours, then you know you're not going to get burnt out. Like you can have very stressful hours here, but if you have like 2-3 hours in the evening where you just do that, it's going to work. Now, it could be the case that you have so many clients and so many obligations right now that you're literally like you cannot physically reduce the amount of work that you're doing, because every single day you have like whatever you need to go on like 3 sales calls. So like from the first like 4 hours already 3 are like taken on average. Then you have like another team meeting over here. Then you need to check something with your clients, with all the clients that you have. You're already at like another 3 hours. Then you need to do something here, and then you actually also have this and this and this. Then it's obviously the thing, like you're doing too much. You need to get that stuff that's happening right now and find other people to do it for you. Shameless plug. If one of the things that you're doing right now is manually booking calls and sort of like doing the effort work to book more calls for your agency, then we might help you with that, because we do this completely on a done for you basis. You don't need to spend like an extra 3 hours, 2 hours, even 1 hour on that. We just handle all of that completely for you. So if you have potentially such a trouble, then feel free to check out the link in the description. That might help you and get you to a better place where you have high potential. You're not losing 10K per month or more than that at this stage, probably, when you have that much to do on earnings or like revenue. So yeah, this might be very beneficial for you. So if all of that helped you, then obviously let me know. If you've got any questions to that, let me know in the comments. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one. I really hope this could help you and you understood what I'm talking about here, because this is crucial and you do not realize it. Like you literally do not realize it like for weeks. And then suddenly you're like, oh fuck, like I've been operating at like 70% for like 2 weeks. And I basically had this here happening to my sales conversion rate for like 2 weeks. I could have closed like X more deals in that time, and all the time is gone and I'll never get back. Like if you realize that, I hope this is not going to happen to you after watching this video. So yeah, wish you all the best. See you on the next one. Bye.